Hey YouTube, the Junkman here. What exactly does a graphic designer do? I recently had a chance to ask an expert that very question who did all my logos and artwork right here. So let's see what she had to say.
Okay, well, thanks for coming out. I'm glad that the weather was conducive because it makes it a lot easier, but I appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to listen and learn more about myself and my business. And actually what I wanted to do is just start out and giving a little background. A few of you I know through where I used to work at the hospital, but most of you I do not. So I want to give a little background about who I am and what I do, and then I can talk a little bit more about my services as a whole. So I've lived in Norfolk for about 11 years now. I'm not a Northeast Nebraska native. I'm actually from a little tiny town an hour about south of Kearney, so south central Nebraska, just about along the Kansas border. Grew up in a little town, though basically grew up on a farm. My parents still farm, and then me and my brother, older brother. And I would say I've been creative from as long as I can remember. Always painting, drawing, scrapbooking, interior design, sewing, Pinterest things before Pinterest or the internet, for that matter, existed. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but I know I look young, but just my whole family has always been very creative in different ways, and I think every person is creative, even when people say, I'm not creative. Everyone has an outlet that they are. Even, for an example, my mom was very good at sewing, and so that's how I got interested in that. My dad is just amazing mechanic and fixes everything on the farm. And actually, as family projects, we got into restoring old cars, and so both me and my brother, as a family project, we both fixed up our first school cars, which included painting and bodywork and upholstery and the whole 9 yards. So not exactly typical family projects per se, but I think living on the farm, you get used to doing all sorts of things that need to be done. So I'd say throughout my life, definitely had a love for the creative. As I decided, what was I going to do when I went to school, I decided I was going to pursue that more directly, and so I fell into studying graphic design, and what plays perfectly with that was advertising. So I actually ended up in Northeast Nebraska by attending Wayne State College, and so I studied graphic design and advertising there, where I learned a whole host of the design skills, but also the advertising, branding, marketing side of things, which I really enjoy as well, and the two going hand in hand. So I've really, feel like, been able to bring both skills together. As soon as I went to college and was able to grasp the concepts and learn the design tools, I started designing things right away for businesses, friends, pretty much anybody who was interested or knew I could do something. And so I started there. I even actually won a couple logo contests, design contests when I was in college, and so that was kind of exciting. But once I graduated, I knew I just wanted to continue taking that to the next level. So I actually ended up in Norfolk at the hospital in the marketing and PR department, where I learned all sorts of marketing and advertising in the real world. And I was very fortunate for over a decade to be able to learn the ins and outs and work at every level of marketing and design, and eventually became the lead designer for designing all of the hospital publications, print media, online website management, billboards, TV, radio, events. I mean, you pretty much were a mini ad agency for the hospital. And so I had great mentors in that department that learned so much from. So I really, really cherish that opportunity. But all throughout, from college through working at the hospital, I was still doing things on the side because I always wanted to do things, a lot of variety of things, and so that involved things outside of the healthcare world. And so I continued to do things for businesses, events, individuals. It just depended. So I just continued to do that. Some days I would work all day at work on the computer or whatever I was doing that day, and then come home and work long into the night on other projects for people. And so sometimes it got a little crazy, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the opportunities to get to do it, and I got to develop my skills over that time period. So as things started to kind of just organically grow from that led me to the opportunity, realizing clear back in college, actually, this is a dream and a goal of mine, career-wise, to own my own business as a designer and do basically what I'm doing now for myself. And so it's really a privilege to be able to get to do that now and be able to focus solely on design. And I work with a whole bunch of different individuals, from corporate executives to business owners to individuals to groups. I work with several events. The Laugh and a Half Marathon I've been involved since it started here in Norfolk, and also the Seven Cities Century Bike Ride. So I've really enjoyed being able to do all sorts of things with those events too, and learn a lot through event planning at the hospital and through those types of events. So I feel like, it was natural that I could basically take some of what I'm doing to the next level. So a little bit more about what I do. Sometimes people don't quite understand what graphic design is, so I hope I can at least clarify a little bit, but feel free to ask any questions after this of anything, because I would love to answer them and try to clarify. But I have a whole host of pieces up here after I'm done. If you would love to come up and take a look at them, pick them up, ask questions, whatever. It just gives a little bit of snippet. So what I do is I do the design work for things like a brochure or a booklet or an invitation or note cards. If you're familiar with this N is for Norfolk book, helps develop and design that entire book. Website design, I've definitely started to expand more. I've done that a lot. I just hadn't done a ton as university design, so I'm starting to do a lot more web design. Graphics for online uses, whether that's like a Facebook page image or just for website images. I'm trying to think of everything, like t-shirts. I've done these cycling jersey designs, logo design, folders. Sometimes I can't even think of everything. And this is just snippets of everything that I've done so many things I can't begin to have a library full of all the samples. So I just pulled some of the fun things. That was one I just did recently for Dr. Jocelyn Bailey, who's actually climbing Mount Kilimanjaro right now. And she wanted a logo and a fundraiser, t-shirts fundraising for her cause for that. So that was a really fun project. And that's been the lovely thing is I've done things for individuals like that. I've done things for events. I've done things for businesses. It just depends on their needs. So, anything that someone comes with an idea and they don't know what to do, that's something I also really strive is to give people the knowledge to achieve whatever it is that they're doing. And sometimes that doesn't mean I actually design something for them. Sometimes I have people that come up to me and they're just wondering, well, how do I get a sign made? Maybe they don't necessarily need me to design it, but they don't even know where to start to get some type of sign made. So I can point them in the right direction. But what is always a kind of a clarification is I don't print things. I don't have like a commercial printer and I shoot out brochures after I design them. I work with commercial printers, online printers, local printers, or whoever my client wants me to use, where I can suggest. So I don't print things. I design what a printer would print. So this brochure I would design digitally on a computer and I would send it to the printer. And I can work with the printer to handle all those aspects, but just to clarify, I don't actually print them out of my house or something. But I can do everything up to that point. If you're like, I just need a brochure and I don't even know what to do to start one. I also offer copywriting and copy editing services, as they've said that I've worked at the hospital working in PR. I worked in the marketing and PR department, did tons of writing for publications, news releases, ads, advertising, you name it. So I've really been able to hone my skills for copywriting and copy editing. So I often offer that for folks. Sometimes it's just nice to have an extra person to look at things, to catch errors, but also just to have that extra help. So after that, another service per se is photo editing. Sometimes some people, need something maybe removed out of a photo, or just maybe it's an old photo that needs retouched. It could be even just a personal thing. Some people are saying, well, I want to use this on my Christmas card, but I need to kind of edit. I want it to look nicer. They can send me the photo and say, what do you want done? And I can handle pretty much anything. That's really kind of fun. I've worked with several photographers to do photo editing sometimes because it takes a lot of time to do certain things. I've worked with several ad agencies actually in Nebraska through my time. Some folks that I've done some contract work with too, so I feel like that's always something that helps broaden your skills and learn about other industries and just get better at what you do. I think one of the things too that I really want to emphasize of what I strive to do is just clear communication. Everybody thinks maybe a designer they want you to make it look pretty. Well, yes, you want to make it look good. But if it doesn't communicate the message or achieve the goal that you're wanting, then there's really no point to how pretty it looks. If it doesn't really work in the manner you intended, if you design a logo that looks terrible when it's teeny tiny on a little pen, it's not really doing you any good. So my goal is to understand clearly what it is a person, an organization, event, whatever, is trying to accomplish, and how can I get them there? What can I do to help them get there? Maybe it's to stand out, help your business stand out in a crowded marketplace. Maybe it's just to make an invitation, have a certain style. It could be any host of things. So I just feel like communication is key, and no matter what you do, you guys all know that. And I feel like I do a good job communicating with that, but I always want to be clear, upfront, and honest of how we get there. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I don't know what else I could really say other than thanks for taking time to learn more about what I do, and I sure hope that in the future I might be able to work with some of you folks, or at least help those out that are looking for some direction. So if you want to, again, come up and take a look at anything, ask me any questions, or feel free to ask any questions right now. I'd love to answer any questions you have.
Do you bring Vanna White with you to all these presentations?
She's an actual Vanna White.
It's so amazing. Like, I just look at, I'm impressed when you start looking at the message, like it's there. I would never come up with that. It's just intriguing to those of us who don't have that skill. Right?
It's very fun. It's very exciting, and I feel like everything's always different. That's one of my favorite pieces is to do the wearables, especially like the cycling jerseys have been really fun because if anybody knows anything about cycling, everything is like all about bright, bold, crazy colors and being very eye-catching. Which I am a cyclist, so I appreciate being noticed on the road, so I don't get ran over.
You're so tiny.
Yeah, I don't feel like I want to have that altercation there. So those are some of the fun things that you get
color
to do.
Combinations and just all of that. It's just more than just a font and an idea. It's the whole package.
Correct. That's funny you say that though, because some people they'll come to you with an idea, even if it's just something kind of chicken scratch on a piece of paper. If they have a vision in their head on some level, it's my goal to bring that out. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job usually. I mean, obviously we're not perfect every time, but I'd say I've done a pretty good job in being able to translate, what someone's vision are. And a lot of people will say, well, they don't exactly know what they want, but they know what they don't want. And that's a good start. Sometimes you have to filter your way down to that. But that, again, is part of the process that I enjoy, and that's where the communication really comes into play, to work directly with someone like me that can really flesh out an idea and pinpoint what it is you want to do and how to get there. Sometimes the tendency is to just want to speed through something, which if you need something fast, I can do that too, but sometimes it's better for everyone if you invest just a little bit of extra time into it. So, but that's part of the process.
What other questions do you have for Jody?
I just have a comment. The N is for Norfolk book was part of the Norfolk anniversary celebration last year, and the artwork and the stories in it are written by students in Norfolk. And it's a really, really beautiful book. You did a lovely job on it. I have a little bit of allegiance to it because my son was one of the authors.
That's right.
But it's a really,
Do you want
really
to author this for me?
no, it's a really beautiful book. If you don't have one, you should look into getting one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still selling them, like in a few places.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. I mean, the artwork is all the kids' stuff, so I was just helping showcase what they did and the writing, the write-ups. Yeah, it was a really fun piece.
Cool.
Yeah, it turned out really well, and the kids were really proud of them, and I think they went over really well too. So that's one of those kind of, rare ones that you get to do, and I was just really blessed that I got to do that one.
What other questions? What a compliment to our community to have you here. I mean, you could support any and every business in some way. So, wow. You're in a good niche market. We have some gifts for you we would like to present.
We have one here called the Cup of Knowledge, so maybe you could reach out to promote that as a resource, and also maybe look over some of the cards, maybe they need to revamp a little bit.
Yeah, right.